Welcome. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this Green Pulse by Acacia portable power station. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon. And if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So this has 299.7 watt hours capacity, has 8 ports, 60 watt USB-C PD output, and 330 watt pure sine wave AC output. So this uses lithium ion batteries. So there are two kind of main batteries you'll find in power stations, lithium ion and lithium iron phosphate. Now they both have their strengths and weaknesses. The big advantage of lithium ion is it's quite a bit lighter than lithium iron phosphate. So let's get this open. So this had two boxes. Here we have an accessories box. Let me see if I can get that out. Back here it looks like maybe a manual. And here's the power station itself. Let's get that out. I was actually holding that kind of weird like by the front, but it actually has a handle right there in the back. Like so. So let's take a quick look at the manual. So here we have a contact card, certificate of authenticity. Here's the user manual. It says, please fully charge your GP330 power station. It is highly recommended to charge your GP330 when the state of charge is less than 20%. So if you want the longest amount of life out of your lithium cells, meaning you want this to last many, many years, you want to stay away from the low charge. So that's why they're recommending charging it if it gets less than 20%. So here's a product overview. We have the LCD display, ambient light, 12-volt socket, DC output, USB-A out, USB-C out, DC input, photovoltaic input or solar, and that has XT60 connector, dust cover, AC output, air intake vent with cooling fan. So this comes with a power adapter, car charger, user manual, and here are the different buttons and features. So you can pause and read through some of this. I will be going over a lot of it. Here's the LCD features, and here are the specs in general. So input on this is 12 to 26 volts. Recharging input power is 120 watts max. Solar input is 12 to 26 volts at 5 amps max. Car charger is 12 volts at 8 amps max. Then your output is 330 watts, has pure sine wave. The 12-volt socket is 12 volts at 10 amps. DC output is 12 volts at 5 amps. And then you have quick charge is 18 watts. Power delivery is 60 watts. So this could work well for charging up a laptop with power delivery. This talks about how to charge it. You can charge it with solar. So with a 120 watt solar panel, it charges in about 3 hours. From a car, it's 2.5 to 3 hours, and AC is 2.5 to 3 hours. So this talks about solar charging, and I'll be doing a separate video on the solar panel. So look below for my video on that, and I'll also have videos on my other Acacia products, including their Space Acacia tent. So this talks about powering devices with this. So this gives examples of what it can power. You have laptop, TV, CPAP. Now with the CPAP, if you use heated humidifier, this may not make it through the night. But if you're not using the humidifier, like here they're giving an example of 16 hours. The heat takes a tremendous amount of electricity. You have GoPro, floodlight, mini fridge, drone, smartphone, switch, and more. And here are other things to consider: cleaning, troubleshooting, and notes. So let's look at the power station. So we have a power button on the front, and then a nice feature of this is it has this door. So this flips down to reveal your ports, and then when you're not using it, it flips up automatically to keep those clean. We have a vent on the side, just a label on the back, a fan on the other side. We have AC out. This is the long stay mode. So this helps with devices that run intermittent, so it doesn't time out and shut off. And here's your AC out. Then on the bottom, we have rubber feet. So let me reposition the camera and we'll turn this on. I don't know how well that's going to record. Let me turn it on and we'll see. I'll readjust if needed. So there's the LCD screen. So it currently says 20% charge and 0 watts output. So this does have a light on it. Let's turn that on. So it has on mode and a flash mode. So if we turn that on, let's see if the watt output goes up. It's not, but it probably takes very little electricity for that light. So this light is made for ambient light, like if you're trying to plug things in or if you just need just a tiny bit of light. Then we have DC out. So it says DC is on here. Let me get straight on so we can read that better. So here we have the DC out, USB out, and we have the AC out on the side. So these are all off when you're not using them, and that's to conserve energy. So if we want to use the DC out, we'll press this, and now DC out is activated. We can do the same for USB out. And we can do the same for AC out. So if we press this, we'll see that lit up. And then there's the long stay mode. We'll press that. And that doesn't show here, but that button is lit up. So let's take a look at the accessories here. So we have a power brick to charge it, and this outputs 24 volts at 5 amps or 120 watts. We also have the car charger. So let me plug this in so we can get it charging. And the charge input is on the front here. We'll plug into there. And now we should see this is charging. So it says input is 35 watts, 39. It's ramping up right now. and it stopped at 121 watts. So that rate may slow down as it gets fuller. And then you have this animation here going around. Let's unplug this. We'll press power. Let's hold down power. There we go. Let's plug it in now. Okay, and then if I unplug power, it goes off. So if it's on, it will stay on. If it's off, it will stay off. But when you plug in that power, it will charge. So I'm going to let this charge up, and then I'll come back when it hits 100%, and then we'll test it out. Okay, so here I have the Green Pulse power station. I've charged it up to 100%. Next to it, I have an air cleaner. On the low mode, this draws around 100 watts. So I'm going to plug this in, and I'm going to see how long it will run the fan. Now I have this smart plug here I have set up to do energy monitoring. So I'm going to plug in through that. Now that will take some energy too, but this will give us a rough idea of how long the air cleaner could run. So let's get this turned on and plugged in. To turn on the inverter, I'll press AC out. And then I'll plug this in. So it says we're drawing 0 watts right now. So I'll turn on the air cleaner. So according to this, it's drawing 85 watts. So I'll come back after this is depleted, and then we'll take a look at the data. Okay, so the battery is depleted. The air cleaner has shut off. It's kind of hard to see on here, but it says 0%, 0 watts draw. So let's head over to the computer and take a look at the stats. Okay, so we started this at 7:16 and ended it at 10:33 a.m. So the duration was 3 hours and 16 minutes. And here we're looking at the current. So I was thinking this was running at around 100 watts, but it was actually lower. It started off at 87, but you can see it went down a little bit and settled in around 78, 79 watts. And it stated that the whole time it was running. Now let's look at the voltage. So the voltage, it started out at 110 volts, then dropped down to 109.7. And if we look all the way to the very end, it was at that same 109.8, 109.7. So the current and the voltage was very steady throughout the whole time this was running. And then when the battery ran out, it shut off. And here's the total consumption. So we start here at 0, and at the very end, we had 0.26 kilowatt hours. So that would be equal to 260 kilowatt hours. So this battery has a capacity of 300 watt hours. So if I did my math right, we were able to use 86% of that to power the air cleaner. So the battery management system in this is potentially keeping a little bit of reserve capacity in the battery, and then you also have losses because we're running the battery through an inverter. But the efficiency of this seems on par with other power stations I've used. Now this was running consistently. If you have an intermittent load, you may get different run times because the power station will take some energy while it's on. Also, higher wattage loads can drain the battery faster than lower wattage loads. There are a number of variables involved, but this gives you a rough idea of how long it can run. So to sum it up, this load was around, let's just round it to 75 watts. It ran for about 3 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so here I have the Green Pulse power station outside, and it's connected to the Green Pulse solar panel. Now I've aimed this as precise as I could get it, and it's currently pulling in around 37 watts of solar. Now it has popped up to near 50. It is winter time right now, so it's not ideal solar season where I live. And also there are clouds that are passing over the sun, which are lowering the efficiency of it. But even at this rate, this could be charged up completely in maybe 7-8 hours. Now in the summertime, I'll have better solar charging, and this would charge up faster. But if you can get good solar charging, if you had a portable fridge plugged into here, you could potentially run that indefinitely. Although you do have to consider overcast days, you'll lose your solar charging. And that is also dependent upon the ambient temperature. If it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit out, it's going to be a lot heavier load on a fridge than if it's a more moderate temperature like 70 degrees. Okay, so I'm in the Space Acacia tent. I have the light installed here and the wires routed. Let me turn on my camera light. Then this runs down here, and that's plugged into the power station. That's plugged into USB. So I turned on the power station and I turned on USB. So on the highest brightness, we're drawing around 11 watts. So I'll turn this all the way down, and we're drawing around 0. So on the highest brightness setting, it's drawing 11 watts, and I ran this for a little bit last night, and the battery's down to around 96%. I also charged my phone with it. So this is very efficient. Okay, so we're back at my bench. I have the Green Pulse power station turned on. I turned on USB output, and I connected my MacBook power cable into here, and it's currently drawing 15 watts, although this will go up to 60. So if you're working mobile, this is a great way to charge your device. Having those power delivery USB ports means you don't have to plug a power brick in, which will have more losses than just going with the direct USB Type-C. It's also a nice clean setup because you just have this small cable here. Now this is sticking straight out. You can get angled USB cables that would stick in like that, and it would have a little bit lower profile. And here we have the Acacia air pump. And the tent and the air pump and the Acacia products were all provided to me by Acacia. So this has a 12-volt outlet on it. We can go in here, we'll turn that USB off, we'll turn on DC out, and we'll plug this in here. And now we're outputting 14 watts from the power station to this, and this is now charging. So that 12-volt output on there is good for inflators, lights, other devices that use 12-volt that you might plug into a car accessory. You can plug directly into a power station. Okay, so I didn't get a weight on this. Let's try that. So the weight I got is 6.74 pounds. So that's the Green Pulse by Acacia 300 watt-hour portable power station. I really like the form factor of this. It has that handle in the back so it makes it easy to carry. It's also lightweight. It has that nice display on the front and the pop-down door where you have all the different ports. It gives you a nice variety of ports here with 2 USB-A, 2 USB-C, supports power delivery. I really like that. We have the DC out, and then of course we have our AC ports on the side. So a power station like this would be great for running your small electronics, charging phones, laptops and such, running inflators, and you can even run those 110-volt electronics. So if you have an older laptop that doesn't have USB Type-C, you could plug that in here. You could plug in a TV, radio. You just want to make sure it's under that 330-watt power rating. Now you will find a lot of devices might have a max power rating on them, and if the max power rating is under 330 watts, you can plug that in and then you can actually see the actual wattage on there so you can know how much it's actually drawing. So a power station like this would be great for camping weekends, road trips, day trips. You could even use something like this in a hotel. Sometimes power outlets are not in convenient places, so you could charge this up and put this where you want your power. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.